Good morning, everyone. I am Carrie Little here with my identical twin sister, Dr. Mina Blazy, on the Twins Morning Show. We'll get it together. How about the morning show with the twins?
That
There
works.
you go.
That actually works. Whatever. Either way works.
Uh,
We
we
have
have
so
been
much to talk
testing
about.
Restream. We've been testing Zoom. We've been playing in the sandbox of technology. So our official show has not officially launched. We'll just make this up as we go. Today, we're going to talk to you about ChatGPT, why you need to use AI every single day. We could change this title over and over again, why you need AI, what everyone's using AI for. But so Mina and I were having the conversation probably on her way to work around why are we actually using artificial intelligence every single day? And we could easily argue the point with many of you that you're like, Carrie, I'm out. Mina, I'm out. I'm not using it. But
It's too much.
but
It's too new. I can't catch up even with the internet. I don't want to do anything else. I'm done.
right, but and the
Yes, get it
you
out.
would think I'm old, like, whenever I go live now, I have to clear my throat, and let me clear my throat. So
Dun, 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 dun.
here we want to just have we want to have a true conversation around AI, how we're using AI, and I'm just gonna let Mina talk to you around why you probably should be using it every single day.
Well, first of all, if you're not using it at least 20 minutes to an hour a day, you're not proficient in it, and you probably aren't really, you don't even know what it is. You don't know the power of what it can do for you. And as easy, I mean, as it's like when Google came out, people just weren't using it. They thought it was this thing that was going to make them dumb or slower. And there is a belief that if you use ChatGPT, then you're not building your own brain cells. But the truth is that first of all, it's here, it's not going about away, and second of all, it actually will enhance your thinking skills and help you become less, well, or more proficient I'm going to use the word lazy, because it will allow you to be more productive. That's probably the better word, more productive, and get a move out of the way the stuff that is taking you a long time, like editing a paragraph. Like, just edit this for me so I can move on to do what I want to do. Write this email for me so I can move on to do what I want to do. It's not doing stuff for you if you're using it with you, but it's stopping us from being inefficient. And I don't know what people are doing in the world today when it comes to helping them get to where they want to be. But ChatGPT is, I mean, it's exponentially changing what we do in our daily work. And whether you're an agent in real estate, whether you work for a big company, whether you are, especially if you're in front of a computer all day, but you might be pondering and messing around with this email or this paragraph or writing a book, and you're like, it's just not flowing. And you don't want to go into ChatGPT and throw it in there because you're thinking, oh, it's doing the work for me, and I don't want anyone to think that I'm not authentic. Well, it is, because if you've been using it for the last 2 years, because this November will be 2 years, by the way, if you've been using it for the last 2 years, you realize the power of what it can do for you. And you probably have been more productive in your daily life because it has edited full papers for me. Yes, I wrote the paper, but it didn't flow right, and it has learned how I write. It has
Well,
learned.
that
That's
go
the part
ahead.
that people don't realize. You've trained ChatGPT.
What's interesting is, and I use it every single day, but maybe not to the level yet. And for me, it's I'm using it every day to use it for direct mail marketing, or to come up with social media marketing as a real estate agent, or to train agents how to think faster.
Right.
And the fact that when you and I were talking the other day around why you should be logging in, and we said we titled this ChatGPT why you need to use it daily. It could be Gemini, it could be Copilot, meaning you just told me about Claude. Uh I mean, it could be Mid Journey, it could be Discord, it could be that you need to log in daily for this reason. If you are not, you know what, Mina, let me say before I go into that, Mark and I just watched the Atom Project again. He didn't realize that he had seen it before. He was like, "We should watch this." I'm like, "Okay," because that's one of those movies I could watch over and over again. Like I Robot, the um Ready Player
Background
One.
noise. The
Yeah,
back.
Ready Player One. What's the one with Jennifer Lopez? The new one that came out, the
Oh,
AI movie. You'll figure it out. So the reason why I'm saying all of this is because AI is here whether you want it to be or not. And the next generation, if they're going to use it, they're going to use it to edit their papers. They're probably going to try to use it to write their papers, where we wished, as Gen Xers, we wished we had these types of tools in our
mhm.
tool belt every single day. So the reason why we're saying to you that you need to log in every day, whether it's ChatGPT, whether it's Copilot by Microsoft, whether it's Google Gemini, or whether it's Perplexity or Claude or any other tool, because now that whenever I start talking about AI, I get, Instagram keeps pushing some new AI tool like how to stage your property in real estate. The reason why you want to start leveraging these tools every single day is because you don't want to be left behind. Mina, you always talk about there's this I'm going to call it a timeline. You're going to give it the correct language. Like, you have iPhone people that will go out and buy the new iPhone immediately because they need to be first. What is that called?
You call those the innovators and early adopters, and the people who typically don't. They're either the late majority or what we call laggards. That sounds like a horrible name, but it's basically the people that are like, I'm not doing it. I'm not changing. I refuse. But the early adopters and the innovators, they're the ones that are willing to test the new tech, the new whatever. They're the ones that, when I'm going to say it out loud, VHS came out, they're the ones who were like, I'm going to burn a CD. What? I can burn a CD. They're the ones who grabbed the newest cell phone, the brick, the big thing, and said, I know it cost me $500 to $1,000 a month to have this cell phone, but I need it. I want it. It's new. It's shiny object. But they're the ones who are way ahead of the world because they jumped on they wanted to learn about it. So even if you're not, what I'll say, an early adopter or an innovator, you can still, and you don't want to be in front of it, you can still go learn it. And I think that people, they get so caught up in, it's just too much, I don't want to. But there's research that says that if you spend 20 minutes a day on something new for the entire year, you become an expert in something. Maybe not like, I
Wait
don't
a
mean
minute, say that again. How much time?
20 minutes a day, at least for 100 days. You become an expert in something, or at least extremely proficient. So I'm not saying if you spend 20 minutes a day and you want to become a drummer, you're going to be like this, elite drummer, but you are going to have some background. You are going to be able to talk about it. You are going to be able to probably play me a nice beat if you're good at it. Because if you put me, Mark will love this one. If I sang for 20 minutes a day for 100 days, it doesn't mean I'm going to get better. But if I got a coach that coached me for 20 minutes a day, I might get better with my cadence. I might get better with my flow, but that doesn't mean I'm going to be Celine Dion. By the way, Jennifer Lopez, the movie was Atlas. Um, it's the idea that when it comes to tech, when it comes to computers, when it comes to learning a new software program, ChatGPT, Gemini, whatever, you can get really good at it if you practice. And practice doesn't make perfect, it makes proficient. We think that we are always practicing. You are a practicing real estate agent, you are a practicing broker, I am a practicing educator, I am a practicing director who helps principals. Like whatever role you're in, you are always practicing. We call doctors their practice. Everybody's doing that. Basketball players, they're good at what they do because they
Practice.
practice.
So really, so like my Duolingo. So, Duolingo. So mi español es muy bueno. I'm on day 371
Mhm. Right.
because I practice every day. I need to go somewhere and live though. I do need to go somewhere and live. So let's do this. Let's actually let's talk about, or like go through the processes of what it really looks like to use ChatGPT every single day. And maybe I'll give an example of how I might do it, but I'll let you go first because I'm the person that for me it is really about real estate strategy and making it simple. Back to the basics is what I said. Simple
Right.
for real estate agents, but if we were to tie into simplicity into real estate, it's as simple as what are you working hard at? So Mina, talk to the world about what could we do better with ChatGPT, or how are you using it to how are you using it as a YouTuber? How are you using it with social media? How are you using it?
So back to the basics, or reimagining the future based on the information that we've had in the past. So how am I using it? And I'm opening up Chat GPT because I feel like I should at least have a scope on what I did recently. I'm using it to create my descriptions in YouTube, for example. I'm using it to take my transcripts from my videos that I create in Zoom, throwing it into ChatGPT and saying, create a description based on everything that I just said. Make it concise. And I might say, make it where the public is, it's readable, and don't make it too academic. And I'm telling it what it's doing. I'm using it to help others realize that it's a profound tool that can help you become better in everything that you do. I think that we typically use other tools. We actually use a generative AI when we are in Google. We are using it when we are on our cell phones. I have seen so many, I'm going to call them millennials, walking down the street like this, talking to their phone or in the bathroom, and they are sending a text because they don't want to type it, which is fine. And I still find myself stopping what I'm doing to type when I could have just said it. I mean, you can even do that in ChatGPT. So if I'm walking and I'm like, take down this note for me. This is what I'm thinking. Save it for later because I might want to have a conversation about what this type of book could be. And those are just like simple things. And if you've not been in it for a while and you're thinking that you're just way over here, that's just way too much for me, go in it, go to OpenAI at least. Go to the first page. Like if I go to OpenAI right now, you don't even need an account now. It gives you these created prompts that you can practice with so you can see what it can do. But and it still will feel overwhelming. And I'm going to give you an example of the first job you've ever had, the and becoming a new real estate agent, becoming a new teacher. Every year when you start new as a teacher, when you become a new principal, when you become a broker, when you have to fill out your taxes for the first time, you have this feeling of, I don't know where I'm going to start. I'm overwhelmed. But my grandfather used to say, and either it was either my grandfather or my grandmother or my mother, I don't know, how do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time. You don't really eat an elephant, but you basically have to chop things up so that you can get to the end. And sometimes we see ChatGPT as this futuristic thing. I'll get to it when I get to it. But then we're getting left behind. And I even felt that way when I started going live or being on YouTube because I felt like everybody else was there. You don't need me. There's too many people out there. But everything that we know and what we do and what we put into the generative AI, and it doesn't matter which one you use. I am a fan of OpenAI's ChatGPT, and Gemini for that matter. But whatever we decide it looks like is what we can create with ChatGPT because it knows my voice. It knows not to use certain words anymore. I put that in the settings, but I also actually have said it so much like don't use the word deploy. Sounds like I'm in the military. It knows not to use things like that. And it's getting smart. I know there are people that are like, but it's going to turn my brain into mush. No, it's not. Your brain will go into mush if you're not keeping up with what's happening in the world. Because if we don't at least now I'm coming from a place from an educator. If we as teachers and principals don't get in front of it, how are we going to help students? How are we going to help the next generation? And if you as a real estate agent and you want to become a broker and you don't know how to use generative AI and your agents who are counting on you to teach them, How are you going to help them? Because there's, and I'm just skimming the surface with what you can do with it, because you can create social media, you can create social media content, and then transform it and go over to Canva. But you can actually link it to the GPT in Canva. Now you can go into a GPT, it's a separate one, and there's a list of Explore GPTs. Click on Canva and say, create some creative social media boards so that I can grab it and throw it into my social media. And that's just like, I know it might feel like a lot, and it might feel like I'm doing what I call the fire hose effect. Oh my gosh, she's telling me too much. But you have to start somewhere. You either choose to start and become what I'll call an early adopter at this point. If you've not been in it, you might be a late adopter, or you become a laggard and you get left behind. And I've seen people who have left an industry because it's not that they're not willing to learn, they get paralyzed. And I get that way too when we become paralyzed, when everything is coming to us at once, or all at the same time, and we don't know what to do with it. We have no idea what to do with it. So it's just something.
Okay. So some of you are like, okay, I couldn't write fast enough. But guess what? You
We
can
can watch
always
it.
come back and watch the replay. You could take notes, because the great thing about, even though we're in a tool that is not, I don't think Restream has figured out the AI yet, but once they do, the sky's the limit. So we didn't even talk about a tool that I like to use in addition to using ChatGPT and Perplexity, etc., is Otter. So even when this talk about ChatGPT and why you need to use it every single day, I use a tool called Otter. OTT. Is it ER or R? And that it allows me to transcribe what we've just talked about, because Restream.io automatically records. It gives me an audio version and a video version. I can take this audio version and upload it to Otter, and it will transcribe everything. And just like Mina said, we can take that information and have ChatGPT give me a description for this live. It can give us a better title. It could give us a blog post. It could give us the ability to have a description for our podcast. There's so many ways you could leverage this just by recording. And I don't know about any of you, but I'm a great talker. I like to talk for a living. Seriously, like for real, like to talk. So that means if I'm good at having a conversation or just talking to myself, and I record the conversation, I could be in my car using voice. I could be, I could record myself, and I can take all of that same information and have Chat GPT edit it for flow, because we don't typically write the way we speak. We have conversations. We might think things, when you talk to someone, you're saying, you might be very basic in your description, but when you actually write, you have to be descriptive. Like, you have to tell the entire story. You can't leave things out, because people have to imagine themselves in the story.
Yeah, because we're good at
So,
and and we don't read that way, but we speak differently.
well, hopefully we get to the point
Yeah,
where
we don't
we
do the
can, that we also have, let me think of it. What is it called? Here I am with the Toastmasters. So if you're someone that if you are going to be talking to yourself on your mobile device, or because we used to also have Dragon, remember Dragon? You could literally take a class like Toastmasters, so it will help you speak. So when you do a podcast, when you are live, when you're creating content, it will help you pause. It will help you take a breath and realize, I don't have to get it all out. I can just give you the basics. Keep it simple. So let's share some insights on how, let's make it simple for people, Mina.
Okay.
If we're telling our audience to use Chat GPT every day, and again, it doesn't have to be Chat GPT, but let's say we're telling you to use AI every single day. How can someone start? And it doesn't matter if you're in the real estate world, an entrepreneur, an administrative assistant. It could mean that you're in the education space. Maybe you're a professor. maybe you're looking at data. What is something simple that anyone, no matter what career you're in, could start doing every day? And it could be that you are a stay-at-home parent. It could be that you're in your retirement years. Like, how could someone simply start using AI today?
Or why would they want to? The question would be
Let's do that.
how,
Why?
but why would they want to use generative AI? Um, as you get older, you tend to slow down, and you know that because when you walk or get up in the morning, your body feels kind of like achy or whatever. But as you start to move, you don't feel as achy. You're and I noticed that even with your muscles, you feel tight. And if you remember when you were in physical education and you wondered why that PE teacher was like, do this stretch, you were like, yeah, whatever, or do this workout, yeah, whatever. But when you got older and when you did something like this, you're like, oh, that feels good. But back in the day, you were like, you were just doing it. Well, as you get older, it's happening to your brain too. Your brain is, oh yeah, I'm doing it. I'm doing it. Your brain is what we call plastic. It's neuroplasticity. And if you are not reading or enhancing or looking at new information, you're not building brain cells or dendrites or connections. What ChatGPT can do for you is get you to enhance your brain and your problem solving. If you do nothing else, just asking it a question about, or asking it a fun question. Now, and I'm going to do this right now, even though you can't see it. And I'm going to tell you what it says.
You
I'm
could
going to
share
ask,
your screen if you want.
um, okay, let me do that. Now I have to minimize this. So I'm going to close this up. Let me share my screen. Make sure I go to the right window. Let me know if you can see that you're just looking at my GPT. And what is the meaning of life? Now I am going to tell you that it's probably going to give me some random arbitrary thing. So, and it actually tried to answer it. The meaning of life is a question that has been contemplated by philosophers and theologians and thinkers for centuries. Like,
Wait a minute. Can
to
you say
ask,
that slower? Because I don't. And try to share it one more time because it gave me a pop up. So I'm pausing you
okay.
to hit share screen because that's not showing online, so we can see it. And then I want you to say that slower. Let's see. Try one more time. Stop and then share. Here we go. Show on stream. Because there we go. Because for
Okay.
some reason, there we are. It's there.
So here is my prompt. What is the meaning of life? The meaning of life is a question that has been contemplated by philosophers, theologians, and thinkers for centuries. That's what it gave me. Now it's giving me, and here's the thing: it's giving me the information based on all the ideas that it's grabbing in the world. But here's why we need to get in there. Why we as professionals need to get in front of this, because if we're in front of it and you have young children, young or not, then you can talk to them about why they should understand this, because you get to train it by giving it your opinions. And then we have young children that can learn how to program using Python, that's the programming language. And then they get to tell ChatGPT or the program itself what their opinions are. All of this is given you based on either facts or opinions. I'm going to go with this as mostly opinion. Like this is, and that's just a question you can ask it. And then I would argue that if you're not sure, if you go to openai.com, the very first thing you see now is ask ChatGPT anything. You don't
So
even
they
need an
made it
account.
real simple.
Like, just ask me anything. I want to learn a new thing. Help. Like, and it takes me, because I'm logged in and I have an account, it takes me right in here. And then it's prompting me to ask it another question. I'd be happy to help you with that. What specific area and topic are you interested in learning more about? When we become learners, we increase our brain cells. There are people in their 70s, 80s, and 90s that learn new languages. You can use ChatGPT as your own tutor. I want to
Wait a
learn.
minute. Back up. Back up. I'm not going to let you say something else. I'm going to slow you down because here what Mina said was when you become you should always be a lifelong learner. That there are seniors that have learned another language. When I was flying to Seattle, Washington, there was a woman next to me, and we started to chat a little bit, and she had opened Duolingo, and I'm pretty proficient now in Spanish. If you talk to me, it might take me a second to think through what you said, but I've been doing this now since, high school, but better when I started substitute teaching. She had Duolingo open, and she had a notebook like this, Mina. And I'm like, "So, are you practicing Spanish?" She was like, "Yeah, one of my grandkids speaks Spanish, and I got to get this." She literally had invested in herself, but she was using a notebook to remember the words. So, what's crazy is you could literally use AI to translate for you and
You
have a conversation back and forth. So what you just said was reimagine how you think, reimagine how you work.
reimagine how you are having, yeah, reimagining how you work. Like, and it's not just, it can make my life easier, but it can give me the ability to learn something new. I mean, I asked it to explain a topic to me because it had been a while. I mean, and okay, I have a daughter that wants to attend medical school. She used ChatGPT to quiz her on the MCAT. It's the medical exam to enter to apply for medical school. She used it in school, and she had a post back thing that she did. And when it wasn't really a master's degree, but it was like in between that. So she did this post back uh, coursework. And when ChatGPT came out, she became the innovator and used it to help her learn. I think they were doing something on immunology, meaning immunization shots. And she was like calling me up, like, "Mom, check this out." And the key, the tipping point was for her is that she had a professor that said, "All of you are using ChatGPT. Just open up ChatGPT right now and have it help you understand this concept. And everybody's going to get a different answer. Let's talk about it." I'm like,
That's the story. That is, so whether you're in the story around the fact that the professor leveraged the fact that everyone is already using it, everybody log in, ask the
mhm,
question, and then let's have a real conversation around what could be hallucination or what could be fact.
yeah. And the thing is the profound part. Well, here's the comparison. I have another daughter that was like, "Mom, my professor said it was cheating. I can't." So we got two different perspectives. And the other one finally had a professor that was like, "Use it, it can help you get better, but make sure you go and vet it, because you just said that ChatGPT can hallucinate. It can hallucinate, meaning after you type for a while, you're like, what in the heck are you saying to me? That's not what I asked." So you have to be aware that it can just make up some stuff. And it may not be making up stuff. It's kind of like, how do I explain this? You know, that one person you talk to and then all of a sudden they interject, and you're like, that has nothing to do with the conversation. That's what
That's
ChatGPT.
us all day.
That's me too.
Hello.
But it's kindergartners. It's kindergartners. You know what? I got new shoes. Or, it's like that's life. But because people are, even ChatGPT wants to interject on, well, I have this great idea. It's kind of comedy. It's comical when it happens, but you can use it to help you inform. But you also need to be very aware that it's not perfect. It is not you. And nobody's perfect, but we can get really good at it. We can get real proficient in what we do with the generative AI. And I know this is kind of a surface level conversation, but man, if you challenge me even with Duolingo, because that's a generative thing too. It's generating information over time. It is an artificial intelligence. You can do this also in ChatGPT because it can talk to you. You can use the app version and say, "I need to have a tutor and I want to learn Spanish and I need you to go at my rate. I'm going to speak it to you and you're going to tell me if I did okay."
So here's what I want to do. So now that you've given your version, I want to give, because I'm in the real estate space, that version, and then we'll kind of wrap up a little bit and see if there's any questions out there in the world of YouTube or Facebook. this might be a little more than simple, but a lot of times in the work, as an entrepreneur, especially in the real estate space, we're just looking for how can I actually use it, or how can I actually use it to build a business. So I'm going to give you the simple version, and I'm going to also share my screen with all of you so you can see what I typically would do. So here, I'm going to share my screen, and I'm going to use ChatGPT. Let me make sure I have it open, and I'm going to use this in a format of how you can use it with data, because a lot, in the education space, you're trained on how to use data in your world, right, Mina? And
Right.
so here, let me go make sure. I think this is what I want. I know I want the entire screen. This screen. Here we go. So I'm in ChatGPT, and in the world of real estate, whether you're a consumer or a real estate agent or a broker owner, designated managing broker, we're always trying to understand data. For real estate agents, what I would challenge you to do is go look up your data, take every single month and look at 4 different cities every single month. And then go look at the data from the perspective of what's happening in the previous month. And right now, even though it is September, I have July. I actually do have August. No, I don't have August data until the middle of September. So I have July data. The reason why I'm sharing this with you is every month I could choose Broadview, Maywood, Bellwood, Hillside. And once a week, I can schedule a post to hit LinkedIn. And I already have my questions, aka prompt, created, and I can literally copy the prompt comparing July 2024 to July 2013, and then hop over to ChatGPT and ask ChatGPT to write the blog post for me. And once it's done, I can, because many of you are not using WordPress or Blogger or some type of blogging tool, the prompt is already created. I'm ChatGPT is writing the blog post, because my systems, or like Mina said, ChatGPT knows how to write the way I think or write. I now have a blog post. It's taking a little longer than normal ChatGPT, but that's okay. And I do need to fix this because I don't like that it says, "Hi, I'm Carrie." I would say rewrite this and say, today, I am your trusted real estate agent in Broadview, Illinois. So I can fix that. But here's the point is ChatGPT gave me a title. ChatGPT gave me the blog post. I can literally highlight my blog post, copy it, and hop over to LinkedIn. And at the top, when I'm in my feed, I can click write an article. I'm not going to post this. I've already posted it, but I can put in my new post. I can go back to ChatGPT, grab the title. I can take a snippet of the actual graphic, and here, I'll just show you since I'm in I can grab the the graphic, take a snippet. So if you're not a blogger, you can be a blogger in minutes. I can save my graphic. I could use the same graphic and make it my cover image if I wanted to, but look at this. I already have this. I already have my blog post, even though I erased some of it. I already have, here, I'll go grab it because you're probably like, what? It just happened, Carrie. I'll go up to these changes, paste, and then I can insert the graphic down here. This looks just like Microsoft Word or any word editing style tool. I can upload my new graphic, click next, and now I have a full blog post, Mina. We could literally take our podcast and make a blog post on it every single week on LinkedIn. We could put it in a podcast, all from just literally leveraging ChatGPT.
Yep. And I did a recent blog post that on LinkedIn, and I almost want to show you if you're okay with, like, stop sharing for a moment. And the reason why is because I wrote the article and then had ChatGPT edit it. So if you're like, but I really feel like I need to write the article, let me know if you can see it because I know you had a pop up thing. So I had ChatGPT write the introduction for me here, and this was an image that ChatGPT created based on me asking ChatGPT, based on everything you know about me, integrating that information, create what you think you would look like. So it's of a feminine photo. And then I wrote this article, and then I had ChatGPT give me a couple of bold headers and edit. It just and it took me, and I didn't think about, and some people would freak out on this, but when I wrote it and I was thinking about punctuation and writing it and typing it, I type pretty quickly, pretty fast. So I'm sure I had errors. So it cleaned up. I said, clean up my errors, my spelling, and organize this where it flows and there feels like a beginning, a middle, and an end. Like that part that people don't realize, that I think that what used to make you stuck before, ChatGPT gives you the ability to be unstuck.
So let's end with this. And I'll go first. And I'm just going to tell everybody I chat GPT'd it. Let's give everyone 3 ways to start leveraging chat GPT. And I didn't even go the real estate route. I went the entrepreneur route. What are 3 easy ways an entrepreneur can use chat GPT every day? In no specific order, but I do like them. Number one, content creation and editing, just like what we just did. Content creation, because you can create a blog post, social media post, you can create emails, or how about ad copy? You can, and then you could literally brainstorm this for the entire month. And if you missed my coffee with Carrie on Friday, August 30th, go back and watch the replay because I talked about building a brand, and I'm challenging everyone to use ChatGPT and to pick a niche. I selected working with first time home buyers or buyers, and I want everyone to create a 30-second or 60-second or less video every single day in the entire month of September. So that's one, content creation, and I gave you some strategy. Number two, brainstorming. So if you're an entrepreneur, how can you brainstorm your company? Are you the only person, but you have no one to chat with every Friday? ChatGPT is the other person at your company. And number three, customer support and frequently asked questions. Use ChatGPT to craft responses to frequently asked questions. Now, I can take this a step further with the frequently asked questions. You might get questions as a real estate agent. You might get questions as an entrepreneur that owns a bakery. You might get questions because I am a professional speaker in the real estate space, and I might get questions that I might want to put on my membership page. So I can put the frequently asked questions and then I can write my own responses and have ChatGPT edit it, or I can have ChatGPT create the actual response. So those are my 3 easy ways an entrepreneur can start using ChatGPT every day. Mina, what are your 3 easy ways?
So I put some things in ChatGPT too, and I actually listed the 3 things, and I wanted to see what ChatGPT came up with. I first, not the 3 things, want to remind everybody that ChatGPT is an open source, so putting in private information, I caution you, don't do it. With that being said, my first thing that I would do is create, as a principal or a teacher, you have to be sure that your school district is okay with you putting out social media. Most school districts have Twitter, they have a Facebook page, they have possibly an Instagram account, and maybe TikTok. So putting out the positive stories that are available, and remembering that digital shadows are there, meaning don't just put children online unless you fully have permission from parents and teachers, and from parents. And even if you're a principal, don't put teacher stuff out there unless you have permission, because when you do that, you create a digital shadow because they don't know about it per se. So get permission in writing. So creating the positive stories for your school, because when you do that, well, for every negative story, you need to probably do 7 to 10 positive stories to negate that. So you create the story using social media. I love the social media idea. The other thing is using it to create data conversations, and using it to organize your data, public data specifically, because remember, student data is private. And what you can do is you can go grab the public data for your school, whether, no, it doesn't matter what state you're in. There's public data. We call them the school report card. And Illinois and Ohio has already publicly given their data out already. Ours comes out in California in mid to late October publicly. You can grab it, organize it, and say, find 5 positive things that I can share with my staff. And how can I talk to my staff about the data so that we can do something differently to improve? Like, that's number two. And then number three, my favorite, here's the challenge. I want you to go and find the latest research online, find an article online on using the latest educational research, like direct instruction, whatever it is, whatever favorite book you have. Grab that article, upload it into ChatGPT. Even if you don't have the paid account, if you just log in the first time, I think for the first 15 to 20 days, you can use the little paperclip on the left side, and you can upload an article for free and ask it to, based on the article, say, read this article so I can see if it's something I want to use in my professional development. And then number two, now create an outline of a professional development that I can do with my teachers with this article that's fun and engaging. So those are the three things that I would do. I think it would be fun. Man, if I had ChatGPT, I used to read these articles and come up with my own plans on making fun activities. I'm telling you, it'll cut down all the time in the world. So those are my three.
So we just want to remind all of you that our goal is to go live every Sunday morning before church, if you go to church, to have a conversation around what is happening in the world of education and real estate. We are our focus is also on teaching and educating on artificial intelligence, but we will come and give you tips and tricks on all of the other topics when it comes to real estate and education. I'm Carrie Little, the designated managing broker of Caremark Realty Group in Illinois and in Florida. And I want to make sure that you follow me over on YouTube, Instagram, and on TikTok.
And I'm Mina Blazy, Dr. Mina. I am on YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, and Facebook. I am Mina J. Blazy everywhere.